My new favorite deck. You guys know I used to love Quickdraw. I had to give up on that deck. The meta is such that the deck is just too slow. Painfully to say, I have tried everything possible, Cardcar D and tour guides and everything, but the deck it's just lacking. So now I'm picking up Heretics, and I'm okay with that because it's not a deck that is widespread right now, and so I'm trying to master it, evolve it, and fit it to the way I play, to my play style, before it becomes widespread, and then you have all the glorious net deckers, and then I'll have new subscribers saying, "Oh my God, you net deck just like I'm so sick of seeing Hieratic builds." Well, you see it here first, May 21st, 2012, before the deck is widespread, before we get Gustav Max. I was playing the deck. I was testing it. I like the deck. I like the deck since I saw it in Japan, and this is what I like. So don't come back months later after we magically get Gustav Max and you start seeing deck list after deck list of people putting these up like they do with Inzectors and Dino Rabbits and Windups and all the other tier 1 decks, and then come back to me and say that I'm just net decking, I'm just doing like everybody else. No, I like the deck and I liked it first, so there. I like the deck. It's just a bunch of big ass monsters, and that's what I liked about Quick Draw. Just dropping these big random big ass monsters, and this deck does that really good. One of the reasons why players shy away from it is because it doesn't have that one card that you just drop and then just start winning. Like it doesn't have a Rescue Rabbit, banish, then win, or top deck the Dragonfly with Hornet Engrave and win. It's more or less, a 3-card combo. It's a 3-card combo deck, and you need to have those combo pieces to really go off. That's alleviated by the fact that they have their own search card, the Hieratic Seal of Convocation, to allow you to put together those pieces. And if you are, fortunate enough, maybe, is that the word, to already have your Cardcar Ds, if you play Pot of Duality, you can assemble those pieces for your combos a lot faster than most. And, having to have those 3 cards to combo out is not so bad. So, with that said, I'll ask you guys real quick, what do you think about the deck? Do you think that since we don't have Gustav Max, it's not worth playing yet? I mean, you guys saw the coverage for the YCS, and dude was doing really good, but the fatal flaw, he didn't overlay his Strike Bouncer for Thunder Charger to pierce the Reaper for game, and that cost him the duel. And other than that misplay, I mean, that shows that the deck already is pretty scary. But I think that, again, the deck has to evolve since we don't have Gustav Max, because it's really hard to OTK. I mean, most times you can only put 7,400 or 7,600 damage on board, and without the Gustav Max, you can't make that final push. Sometimes if you have the red MD in hand, you can banish the one that's 0/0 and then put the final damage on board, and that's why some people play triple red MD instead of just 2. But if you did draw the red MD, that's pretty much the end of the game for you. So I just think, again, I can't say this enough. The deck has to evolve. It needs a longer game, because when you go off and you push for that 7,600 damage, and then they retaliate with a dark hole, you pretty much blown your hand, you blown your setup, and this deck has absolutely no recovery. You guys all know that this deck has no recovery. Once you lose your field, it takes so many turns to recover, and I'm working on ways to get around that and to fix that. Alright, so I want to show you guys a quick little tutorial about how the combo works, what the combo looks like, and some of the cool things the deck can do. Alright, so doing 7,600 damage to your opponent. It's pretty freaking easy with this deck. And like I said, it sucks we don't have the Gustav Max, so you can't do the full-on OTK. But with 3 cards, you can do 7600 Aset, Depthet, and Tefnuit. Will give you the damage you need. And again, they can all be searched with the seal. So if you don't open those guys, you can search those guys, draw into those guys, etc., and get it off. So you have the Tefnuit. Your opponent controls a monster and you don't. Special summon the Tefnuit. Normal summon the Aset. Summon Nepthet because you control a Hieratic, so you tribute him. His effect activates. Get your Luster Dragon. Activate Aset's effect. Make all the guys level 6. Then you can use Nepthet's effect to tribute a Hieratic you control to destroy a monster in your opponent's side of the field. So you blow up their monster. That'll trigger a set. Get your other vanilla guy out. And then you just go to town in wind-up fashion with the loop-de-loop-de-loop. Overlay for a tomb. Detach your vanilla. Get your Sue or another Tefnuit, whatever. But I prefer Sue just in case you don't OTK, they have gores. And you might need to go off again, so you're going to need that Tefnuit to do it all over again. So I get the Sue, overlay again for a second Attuned, and I apologize. You guys haven't traded me another Attuned yet, so I need it. Detach your vanilla. Get your Red MD. Use Red MD's effect, get your Wattail. And then from here, overlay your Gaia Dragoons. So now you have 26, 26, 25. I apologize, that's 7,700 damage. And you know, that's about as good as it gets. I mean, if you had a Red MD in hand, then you can always banish the Red MD on field, activate Red MD's effect, get your vanilla guy back or your Tefnuit, you know, and then that's over 9,000. Over 9,000. So you can OTK that way, but again, that requires 4 cards just to do that. If we had the Gustav Max, when we were Attuned spamming, we detached, and we had the other vanilla on the field already after we overlaid, detach. Here, when we got the Red MD, we can use Red MD's effect, get back our set, copy again, overlay for our proxy Attuned, detach our vanilla for another Red MD, and I lost my Red MD, here it is. Then use Red MD's effect, bring back the vanilla. And then you overlay for Gustav Max. And I don't have a Gustav Max, so we're going to troll with Reaper on a Nightmare. So, you know, we had the big ass cannon dude, you know, with all this damage on board. So that's essentially how the deck would play out had we had Gustav Max. But as it stands, you have to be really tricksy to get the OTK. But with 3 cards, you can put 7,700 damage on the board. And, you know, that's pretty cool. And again, that's what I said, you know, after you combo out like that and you don't kill your opponent, you know, it makes you think, it's like, oh my God, I can do all this damage, but I just can't finish them off. And you give them a chance to come back. And since the deck essentially runs no back row, some people are running my body, some people are running Forbidden Lance. You know, Lance only protects 1 monster from Dark Hole. My body doesn't protect itself from Space Typhoon. So, you know, without back row, your opponent can just go blarg, Dark Hole, and, you know, just beat your face in. And, you know, when you spam out like that, it's really hard to make a strike bouncer. And hopefully you have the Baylor in hand, because then they're just going to drop Dragonfly, Hornet, pew, 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 and pick apart your field easy peasy. So we're going to go to the lab and we're going to experiment with cards and see what it's going to take to make the deck consistent, have a long game. And I know there's going to be people who are going to say the deck is consistent. It OTKs like all the time. You're just doing it wrong. But yeah, but to OTK you need 4 cards. You need 4 cards to OTK. And Zectors only need 3. Hornet, Zectaliber, and Dragonfly. And Dino Rabbit only needs the second turn. You know, they on-field Lagia, and then the next turn on the empty field, Tour Guide, because then they go Tour Guide and Lever, get back Rabbit, get 2 Sabrosauruses, 19, 19, 18, and 24 is a good game. So, you know, we need to be able to compete with that if we're going to run this deck. That's why I've been experimenting with this card. And I have ways to bring that card out, because this gives you a fallback plan. It allows you to, if they Veil your Tomb or what have you, or they Veil your Red MD, it allows you to start another cycle, you know, revive your Aset or your Nepthet or your whatever, and then try to go off again. Special summon your dude from your hand, your Sue from your hand, and then start to spam all over again. And you know, this little bitch has 2200 attack, so she can put in work. And then, you know, other rank 4s, you know, just to give it that long game, so you can like set up, get some pokes here and there, stop your opponent's push, you know, by running traps, by running, you know, some anti-meta-ish cards, all at the same time, still running, still keeping the deck at 40, but still including the all-important cards for your, you know, combos. You know, the deck wouldn't be the deck if you didn't run those cards, you know, copies of all those cards. So, you know, the deck can still get there, but I just tried to add another layer of protection / consistency, because I just don't think that going balls to the wall is going to cut it against a deck like Insectors that only needs 1 card to go balls to walls, where you need 3 or 4 and you have to wait. They don't have to wait. They can just Foolish Burial in the Dragonfly and go off, and we have to sit there and put together pieces. So instead of just sitting there putting together pieces, while I'm putting together pieces, I like to be able to, you know, set up a defense, make little small counter pushes, that kind of thing, and then go off. Let me know what you think. If you like the idea, think it's solid, and I'll continue this series and building on Hieratic dragons until we get Gustav Max. This is Dub K Dad, and I'm out.